We travel on from the exit of the Crinan Canal in Crinan to the city of Oban. It was raining, but the sea was still calm. We were warned not to use the wider Gulf of Corryveckan between Jura and Scarba Island to reach the Firth of Lorn, as there was the very dangerous and third largest whirlpool of the world. This is a video of my series adventures with my Trawler Yacht Whitehorse, a Grand Banks 36. First, a short overview. In this episode I will tell you about the whirlpool of the Golf of Corryveckan. Then you can follow us on our route north from Crinan to Oban, and finally have some views from Oban. Our day's route. We had started the day in the Crinan Canal and were now to enter Loch Cranish. Then we exit into the Sound of Jura by driving between some small islands south and west of Aird. We avoid the Strait of Corryvreckan and prefer the calmer waters east of Scarba and Slate Islands in order to reach the Firth of Lorn. Then we head north in a quite straight line to the Scottish city of Oban. The whirlpool in the Golf of Corryveckan. Our British friends warned us in the morning while we prepared for our journey to Oban. Keep north and east of Scarba after exiting Crinan. Do not travel through the Golf of Corryveckan between the islands of Jura and Scarba. In the Golf of Corryveckan is the third largest whirlpool in the world. It is created by tidal floods that move from south into the Sound of Jura, to which the Crinan Canal exits. These tidal waters have only one real exit, and that is the deep waters of the Golf of Corryveckan. But near the end of this gulf, just before it opens to the Firth of Lorn, there is a strong current pressed upwards from the depth of about 100 meters to only 29 meters by a large basalt pinnacle that is blocking the free flow of the waters. That is the cause of this very dangerous whirlpool area. The sea lock of Crinan was quite high, and we had to wait with the exit until the water level was low enough and our British sailing friends had left the lock ahead of us. Then we also could head in direction of the islands south and east of Aird and keeping east of Scarba. Did you like my video so far? Then I would be grateful for you subscribing free of charge to my YouTube channel to help me finance my work. Thank you. As always, I kept a close eye on the card plotter to see whether there were any obstacles or high sea ground ahead. But it was also important to keep the temperature and pressure of the engines at around constant 80 degrees centigrade and maximum 4 psi of oil pressure. Especially the last had given me sometimes headaches on the starboard engine. In order to sail in an energy saving mode, I kept the RPM at about 1300, which resulted in about 6 to 7 knots speed over ground. Heading northeast on the Firth of Lorn in direction Oban, the weather still was raining, but the sea was still calm, so we kept inside and enjoyed the view of the coastline. Finally, we reached the Sound of Kerrera, which leads to the Bay of Oban and the city with the same name. This sound is only about 7 kilometers in length and 500 to 700 meters in width. We reached Oban again in good weather and had a nice berth at the pontoon bridge. But the rain was still lingering and we were rewarded with a beautiful rainbow. The marina in Oban grants everything one needs and is in direct access to the city and harbour. Nearby restaurants, pubs and shops kept us busy. We had experienced a walk through this nice Scottish city when our British friends arrived about 90 minutes later, and we enjoyed a nice evening in a nearby pub, wishing goodbye and safe further travels as they would take other routes from here. Despite the COVID pandemic, no one in the pub had a mask on, and the pub was crammed with guests. It was as if no news of what had happened in the world had reached this old pub. Then we returned to our boat and prepared for the next day. It would lead us to the 55 kilometers distant entry to the Crinan Canal in Corryvreckan. This will be covered in my next episode.